Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal Daly and I'm a beauty and brains coach. Today we are talking about your skin, how it functions, how it works, and what you need to have really popping, nice, shiny, beautiful, healthy looking skin. But before we get into that, I need you to subscribe if you've never seen my face before, and then hit like if you like what I'm talking about. I'm gonna get started with these fun facts about skin. So if you guys have questions, give me a thumbs up if things feel really good and you feel really good with the information. Remember, just throw me a thumbs up. Hola. If you have questions, please stop me because I'm just gonna keep sliding through the slides. I feel like we feel really good about this. Thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. Who've been hanging out with me every week. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. So let's talk about some basic facts about skin. I would definitely cover this whole slide to prepare for Stateboard. But when we talk about our hair, skin, and our nails, that's all a part of our integumentary system. So when we talk about that body system, that's gonna encompass your skin, your hair, and your nails. However, you want to be careful because if they ask you, what does the word integument mean? The word integument means natural covering. So hair, skin, and nails belong in the integumentary system, but the word integument means natural covering. So when we talk about the functions of the skin, there are 6 different functions of the skin. So the skin has 6 different jobs. Your skin is the largest organ of your entire body. So although we don't really think about it, your skin is really busy taking care of you, right? So the 6 functions, you could be asked about any of them. They could ask you like a list and they include like 4 of them or 5 of them and you have to fill in a blank. So you just wanna have a pretty good idea of the different functions. So we have protection, we have sensation, we have heat regulation, excretion, secretion, and absorption. Now, some of these are just gonna make sense, while others you might have to think like, well, what does that mean? So when I think of protection, that's protection from injury or that's protection from like bacteria. So I always think like if I had to sit at like a public bus stop, like I know it's a weird whatever, but if you didn't have skin, that would be so gross to sit down. So that's the whole protection idea. Sensation is your senses, feeling, heat regulation. So we're supposed to be at a 98.6, that's our temperature. So if for any reason we get sick or we go above that comfortable homeostasis, then we're gonna start sweating, and that is all regulated by your skin. Excretion and secretion. I feel like students get those mixed up. So when you write down excretion, put =, sweat, and secretion =, oil. So you secrete sebum like from your sebaceous gland. So if you see like the SEC, like sebum goes with secretion. Sweat goes with excretion. And then lastly, we have absorption. So when you think of absorption, if you use like an oil or if you've ever had like the birth control patch where that medicine can go through your skin, that's the idea of absorption. And then lastly, I have cosmetic dermatology on this slide. With cosmetic dermatology, as a cosmetologist or esthetician, your job is to cleanse the skin or beautify the skin. That's a possible Stateboard question. So under our license, we can cleanse the skin, we can get facials, we can get massages, we can do extractions. That's it for us, right? That's the outer surface of the skin. When you talk about dermatology or being a dermatologist, that's a completely different industry. You have to go to med school. At that point, you study the skin, its structures, you study diseases and disorders of the skin. When I talk about cosmetic dermatology, that is like this weird, perfect gray area. If you're really interested in skincare, where you can work almost like under the supervision of a dermatologist. So you work in a doctor's office. He would do any kind of medical procedures or any type of heavy duty skincare, whereas you may do the microdermabrasion or you may do laser hair removal, and all that takes is specialized training on top of your cosmetology license. So this is a whole nother world that you can kind of like build a career in with your license. So that's kind of cool. You just have to know, again, for state board, that cosmetologists or estheticians cleanse and beautify the skin or work on the outside, where a derm is a doctor. He goes to med school for 12 years. That's a whole different thing. Okay, so let's talk about what our skin needs. So all of these 4 vitamins, these 4 vitamins that you see, you feel good, Sandra? The 4 vitamins that you see on this slide could be possibly found on your state board test and or any skin tests. Like, this is just basic. So I would know all of these vitamins, but then I also found some fun facts about them. So let's talk about the #1 thing that your skin needs, and that's water. So your body weight is anywhere from 50 to 70% water. Test question. I would highlight that, 50 to 70% water. Some fun facts about water, or like why water is so important for our skin. The water flushes those toxins out of our skin. When you think about what your cells really need, I think a couple weeks ago we talked about cells. Cells need water and oxygen. #1, what is water made out of? Oxygen, like it just, right? So 50 to 70% of our body weight is water. If you notice that your feet are cracked, or this is a fun fact, not on your test, just fun fact. If you notice that your feet are cracked or your lips are cracked, you could possibly be dehydrated, and that's a sign that you need more water. If you find that you get like daytime fatigue, you get like cloudy, or brain fog throughout the day, it could possibly be a sign of dehydration. You need some more water. My trainer used to yell at me about this all the time. As soon as I started complaining, he goes, "Did you drink enough water?" If you want to know how much water you should be drinking, write this formula down. You're going to take, I know, right? I know, right? So you're going to take your weight, you're going to divide it by 2. So whatever your weight is, divided by 2. And the number that you have left represents how many ounces of water you're supposed to drink a day. So take your weight, divide it by 2. Whatever number you have left over, that's how many ounces of water you're supposed to drink a day. And just to give you like a reference, just to kind of, because you know, y'all, I was just in the tunnel of research. I was like, ooh, what's next, right? So 128 ounces of water is a gallon of water. So depending on your weight, depending on your physical activity, what you got, what your water goals are. If you had someone who was, I did the math. Okay, if she was 250 pounds, you divide that by 2, then she would have to drink 125 ounces of water. That's almost a gallon of water a day. So drink up, guys, so you don't look dry and ashy. Don't nobody want to look dry and dehydrated and crunchy. We're going to drink our water so we can flush the toxins out, right? Okay, so I'm going to move on down to vitamin C. So some wonderful, okay, before I even get into these vitamins, some fun, just overall fun facts about all these vitamins that our skin needs. Most of them are antioxidants, and antioxidants are just bomb, just bomb.com, right? And then most of these vitamins also help support our immune system, which just kind of makes sense because think about it. Your skin is the largest organ of your body. Your skin helps get rid of toxins, helps excrete waste. It just makes sense that these vitamins support what our skin already does. So let's jump into it. Vitamin C, you'll need it for state board. The things that I would write down for state board or highlight for state board is that vitamin C helps repair your skin and it helps speed up the healing process. That's what I would write down for state board. Vitamin C helps repair your skin and it helps speed up the healing process. Here is what's like dope about vitamin C. Vitamin C is good topically. So if you have like a vitamin C serum, it's great that way, but it's also great as a supplement. So I take a vitamin C supplement, but after my research today, I'm definitely going to get some vitamin C serum. And that vitamin C syrup should be in some type of cocktail with vitamin E, and we'll talk about vitamin E here in a little bit. So I told you about, or I mentioned antioxidants. The whole idea behind an antioxidant is that it neutralizes free radicals. To make this real simple and easy, you don't need it for Stateboard, but if you're interested in your own personal skincare, when I say antioxidants neutralize free radicals are the bad guys and antioxidants are the good guys. Antioxidants prevent the bad guys from chewing your skin up. That's the easy way. I'll jump into it a little bit more. Last fun fact about vitamin C, it naturally brightens your face. So it's not like bleaching, like a bleaching cream that's going to disturb your natural melanin production. But if you have some hyperpigmentation, vitamin C can help lighten that. All right, so let's move down to vitamin D. We know that vitamin D helps support us being in a really good mood. It also helps support that calcium production. But some things that you may not have known about vitamin D is that it also helps with rapid healing. So again, helping to support that immune system. Things that I would write down for Stateboard about vitamin D, supporting with that calcium production, rapid healing. That's what I would write down for Stateboard and vitamin D. You can get vitamin D from vegetables, but you can also get vitamin D from the sun. In my research today, I found out that you can still wear sunscreen. You can still wear sunscreen and get enough vitamin D from the sun in like your daily goal for the day. So you can still be protected from the sun while still getting vitamin D. And if you absolutely do not want vitamin D from the sun, or you're worried about those UV rays, being exposed to the UV rays, you can take a supplement. I'm going to move down to vitamin A. You do not need a lot of information for Stateboard about vitamin A, but vitamin A is a really bomb vitamin. If I were you, do your research on vitamin A. What you may see is that it keeps the skin firm and thick. So vitamin A, you get it from carrots. But it's a whole lot of good information on how, not just the surface of the skin, but how that vitamin A really helps the aging process and really slows down the aging process and really takes care of the deeper layers of your skin, the stuff that really shows up when you're older. And then lastly, we have vitamin E. Vitamin E protects your skin from those UVA and UVB rays. It is a great cocktail with vitamin C. So the challenge with vitamin C, when you use a vitamin C serum by itself that does not have vitamin E present, the sun degrades it. So if you're using a vitamin C serum, you want to cocktail it or buy a product that has vitamin E and vitamin C in it. Place it down on your skin like after you cleanse your skin. Then put your moisturizer on top of that. And then put your makeup on top of your moisturizer. So now you've like put your vitamin C and vitamin E on your skin. It's able to penetrate through your skin, and then you've protected it with that barrier with your moisturizer and then your foundation and powder and everything else. Hola! Do we all feel really, really, really good about what your skin needs? We're going to go into what our skin does not need. Give me a thumbs up if we feel good. Vitamin E oil is a godsend. Yep, absolutely. Because it protects your skin. So she said the vitamin E oil was a godsend because so it protects your skin and it's able to penetrate. So we talked about absorption. There are some things that your skin can absorb, whereas some things it cannot. Vitamin E, fortunately, can be absorbed by the outer layer. Sweet, fantastic. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So about what your skin does not need. Boom. Okay, so we talked about antioxidants and what is an antioxidant. The antioxidant is the good guy. It helps fight off the bad guys. We know the bad guys are those free radicals. So what does that all mean? So what, if you can see that word behind my big head, it says oxidative damage. Good news. You do not need to know the word oxidative damage for Stateboard. but I do think it is important. So oxidative damage is what happens to your skin when you expose your skin to like the bad stuff, the toxins or whatever is causing challenges with your skin. So for example, I have the sun up there. You lay out in the sun, no protection, and the UV rays produces free radicals in your skin. The free radicals in your skin, they chew on the collagen and the elastin in your skin. So I would write down the word collagen and elastin. Collagen and elastin are the proteins found in your skin. Collagen is going, so if you think about collagen lip injections, collagen keeps your skin plump and full, right? Elastin keeps your skin so it like snap back. So if you see like Kim Kardashian, how her skin just snaps back, elastin, right? Free radicals eat the collagen and eat the elastin. So we need antioxidants to help balance out those free radicals. So if you have really, really great skin, if you know someone with really, really great skin, they have more antioxidants neutralizing or warding off those free radicals. Whereas if you know someone with maybe not so great skin, and I'm talking about like not maybe like acne prone skin, but more like age skin, maybe someone who tans a lot, that's due to the free radicals. So there's more free radicals causing more skin damage than antioxidants present. So it's kind of like a constant balance where making sure you're putting enough good stuff in to counteract the bad stuff. I mean, we cannot like live in a bubble. You cannot not go outside. So how do we protect our skin? So let's talk about some things we want to avoid. We talked about the sun. I have a tanning bed down there. So same deal, those UVA, UVB rays, they just wreak havoc on the collagen and elastin found in our skin. Next I have, before I even move down to smoking, I'm gonna talk about air pollution. I didn't know this, so I learned this kind of going through information today. So with air pollution, so just toxins in the air, just the exhaust from our car, it causes inflammation in our skin. And just your skin constantly being inflamed, constantly congested, eventually it produces free radicals, and we have that same challenge that with the sun did. But again, the sun is number one. The sun is the number one thing over everything else on this slide. Smoking. So the deal with smoking is that apparently smoking kills collagen. It attacks the collagen in the skin. Next I have drinking. So the challenge with drinking, and here's what's interesting about this. Like, we know like smoking is bad for you. We know drinking is bad for you. We know like not sleeping is bad. We know all of these things, but it's just kind of interesting when you kind of understand why. You may not never have a drink again, but you'll think like, maybe I'll have just one less, because you're aware now, right? Okay, so when we talk about drinking, the problem with drinking, it dehydrates us and it inflames us, or again, that inflammation in the skin. So when you start drinking, the first thing that your body does is suck all the moisture out of your skin. And now I'm thinking like, how many times have I gone out and then I have a cocktail and I'm just looking dry and dehydrated because I had a cocktail? That's crazy, right? And then everybody's experienced this. You're one cocktail in, maybe two cocktails in, and then you get a little flushed and a little flustered. That is the inflammation caused by the alcohol. So just something to think about. And then sleep. So I was on Dermological's website today, found out today that when you talk about repairing cell damage or producing collagen in the skin, all of those things happen while we are sleeping. And the prime, I'm a real 30 the next day. I'm telling you, it definitely does it. It shows you. And here's what's funny about it. The older you get, the longer it takes for your body to get rid of like stuff out of your system. The bounce back. Oh, real thirsty. Yes, real thirsty and dehydrated. Yes, I thought you said 30, like you looked 30 the next day. That's that's funny. But yes, the older you get, the longer that takes for you to kind of rehydrate and get yourself back together. Okay, so here is what's interesting about the sleeping thing. And again, we know, like, if you went 2-3 nights not sleeping, you can see it in your skin. We all know this information. But here's what's interesting about sleeping. So apparently the quality, not only the quality of sleep, but the time you are sleeping is going to make a difference. So the peak time for your skin to regenerate, or for your skin to be in the best mood to do this, and again, I got this from Dermalogica's website, so you guys can go check it out, is from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And I am terrible because oh my God, I will go to sleep at 12 o'clock and I'm thinking to myself, how many nights have I missed that perfect window of sleep time? So now I'm like, I gotta go to bed at 9 o'clock. I want my 3 hours of peak regeneration. Guys, I'm 33, and I mean, thank God for genes, whatever. But I can see it. I just see little, oh, thanks, Steph. I just see little stuff, I just notice a little more congestion, or I notice I get a little more, I'm getting real raw with y'all. I notice I get a little more, I don't know. I just notice it's not the same. It's just not the same. But yeah, okay, so this is how we combat that oxidative damage. If you guys have any questions, who got to decide on those hours? So here's what's funny about it. So Shanban is because of our circadian rhythm. So circadian rhythm, short version, is like humans have this perfect block of time where we're supposed to sleep. It kind of goes with the sun. It's like our natural biological clock. It's a whole thing, girl. You could go, it's a whole thing. It's called circadian rhythm, but it sounds like an S. I will also underline the word skin in the 3 layers of the skin. Here's why. They could possibly ask you like, hey, what's the top layer of the skin? Or they could say, hey, what's the top layer of the epidermis? Or hey, what's the top layer of the dermis? So we're gonna first talk about the layers of the skin. You draw an ice cream sandwich. The very top layer is called the epidermis. The epidermis is the dead layer. It's the top layer. It's what you look down at your arm, you're looking at your epidermis. You go to give somebody a facial, you are rubbing on their epidermis. The next layer underneath that epidermis is the dermis. The dermis is the live tissue. It's living tissue. It's way thicker than the epidermis. That's where all the meat and potatoes, when we talk about skin, that is where your actual skin lives at. If you were riding your bike, you fell off your bike, busted your knee open, and you started bleeding, you are now in the dermis. There's no blood in the epidermis. There's no blood up top because it's dead. The thin part of the ice cream sandwich, there's no blood up there. The thick part, the white part of the ice cream sandwich, that's the dermis, that's the live tissue, that's where the blood lives. And at the very bottom, you have your subcutaneous layer, and your subcutaneous, the white meat, yep. Your subcutaneous layer is the fat, the subcutis. It could be called the subcutis. It could be called the subcutaneous layer. That yellow stuff. So the example that I give, if you've ever cooked chicken before, you ever fried chicken, especially dark meat, you know, when you're cleaning it, you pull that skin back, and what do you see? That yellow fat, the chicken fat. Fantastic. That is the same thing. So if you were to pull your skin back, pick a juicy area, you would have that same yellow adipose. You can see that word, adipose tissue. That is fat. We feel good about that? That's pretty easy. I'm going to jump into the layers of the epidermis. All right, so let's talk about the layers of the epidermis, guys. So again, the epidermis is the dead tissue. Very important to remember. Let me paint a picture for you. You are in Columbus, or you in your state capital, or however you take your state board test, and they ask you a question about the skin, and you're gonna have maybe a scrap piece of paper, or maybe you just run through this information in your brain where you dump all this information out. Like, you want to be able to know where things live. You want to be able to see the epidermis and know, oh, that's the dead little skinny one up top. You want to see the word dermis and know, oh, that's the thick one in the middle, right? Really, really important that this information lives in like a nice little folder in your brain. I hope that helps. Okay, epidermis. Outermost layer, write that down. Epidermis, outermost layer of the skin. Dead. And there are 5 layers of the epidermis. The way I have this slide written out, I have the outermost, I have it written from outside in. When I teach it to you, I'm gonna teach it to you from the inside out. So we're gonna start at the bottom of the slide and work our way to the top. So the first layer, or the innermost, the deepest layer of the epidermis, the basement layer of the, ooh, thanks, boo. The basement layer of the epidermis is the basal cell layer. Notice I said the basement layer, the basement basal cell layer. The bottom layer of the epidermis is the basal cell layer. The basal cell layer can also be called the stratum germinativum. They can ask you a question about the stratum They can ask you a question about the stratum germinativum and then turn around and ask you a question about the basal cell layer. And they're asking you 2 questions about the same exact thing to try to trip you up. So stratum germinativum, basal cell layer, they mean the same thing. This is the bottom of the epidermis, and this is where baby skin cells are born. So this layer of the epidermis is alive. This is where baby skin cells are born. This is where cell mitosis, cell generate. This is where this magic is happening. What also lives down here are the cells that make melanin. Who can tell me what melanin is? The cells that make melanin live in the stratum germinativum. What is melanin? Hey, hola, what is melanin, friends? I definitely know somebody, not the instructors, not the educators, but I know someone on here knows what melanin is. What is melanin, guys? Okay, well, I'm gonna wait on it. So the cells that actually make melanin live in the stratum germinativum, and it lives in the basal cell layer. Those cells, right, don't say nothing stiff. They know what melanin is. I'm waiting. Thank you, pigment. Thank you, essence. Thank you. The melanin, so the cells that make, thank you. Thanks, Totes. Thanks. I was kind of nervous, like, okay, maybe. No, I knew y'all knew that. I knew y'all knew that. Y'all was playing a trick on me. So the cells that make melanin, they're called melanocytes. They live in the stratum germinativum. So everything that you think of skin, you think of your skin color, you think of protection, you think of skin, all that magic happens in this basement layer. All right, so we're going to take the elevator and go 1 layer up. So now we're in the stratum spinosum. Thanks, Shanabana. Thank you. Thanks for the support, guys. So the stratum spinosum is the second layer. If we hop in the elevator and go from that stratum germinativum and go to the second layer, we have our stratum spinosum, and that is the spiny layer. So that's what I would write for Stateboard. Stratum spinosum, = spiny layer. And this is where the shedding process begins. So cells are born in the basement, and they take 1 layer up, and they start to die. They start to keratinize. They start to turn into keratin, hardened keratin protein, right? So spinosum, spiny layer, and that's where the shedding process begins. We're gonna get on the elevator. We're gonna go 1 more layer up. That is the stratum granulosum. That's known as the granular layer or the grainy layer. So those words just kind of all click in together, right? And this is called the grainy layer because you can actually see the keratin. By the time it gets to this layer, it's fully dead and it's like little keratin cells. Next, we have our stratum lucidum. This layer is very special because it only exists on the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. That's why the skin on your hands and feet are thicker everywhere else. If you've heard this story before, my little brother, he's so weird. He would take like safety pins and be like, I'm not bleeding. It is because of your stratum lucidum. That's the only reason why you can do that. Not, he wasn't special. It was just the lucidum. And then lastly, we have our stratum corneum. That is called the horny layer. Yep, it's in your textbook and it could be on your test. What's special about this layer, it is the outermost layer. As a stylist or an esthetician, this is what I'm gonna treat. This is what I work on, right? And what's cool about this layer is that it's water resistant. Not waterproof, but water resistant. Cool, cool, cool. And if you can see, like if you tap on the comments, I think they'll disappear. Maybe, nope, sometimes they disappear. Maybe you gotta like swipe or something, I don't know. But you can see my little mnemonic at the bottom and it helps you keep the layers of the epidermis in order. Stateboard. You need to know all 5 layers of the epidermis. You need to know what they do, like what's happening in each layer. And then you need to know them in order. They may ask you, what's the layer below the stratum corneum that only exists on the palms of your hand and soles of your feet? And that's all the information they give you. So we just went through the epidermis. We need to now talk about the dermis. This is the living tissue. This is the real skin. So if you look at my diagram here, it looks like a big chunk of lasagna, right? And you see the top layer of the lasagna is like being peeled off. That's the epidermis we just talked about. We don't need that. We're talking about all this good stuff that lives in this light pink area. And this stuff should look real familiar to you. I see some blood vessels. I see some nerves. We talked about that adipose tissue. But I'm going to give you the fun facts that you need for this dermis area. So first thing, dermis has a lot of words. The dermis could be called the cutis. So C-U-T-I-S. It could be called the corium, so not corneum like the epidermis, but corium, so C-O-R-I-U-M. And it could also be called the true skin. So that could be a whole test question by itself. This is considered live tissue, another test question. The dermis is 25 times thicker than the epidermis. Very cool. Very cool. The words below my little lasagna piece of skin, papillary layer and reticular layer. So the dermis has 2 layers. The top of the dermis is called the papillary layer, and the bottom of the dermis is called the reticular layer. This is my weird way of remembering reticular and papillary. I'm not sure how much sense it makes, but when I see reticular, I hear cellar, and like a cellar is in the basement. So a cellar is in the bottom, it's in the basement. So reticular is in the bottom basement. If it works, use it. If not, just leave it alone. But papillary is the top. Repeat the layers again. So papillary is the top of the dermis. So rip. Oh, thanks, Nizzle. Hey, boo-boo. Thank you. So rip the epidermis off. We're in the dermis. The top of the epidermis is the papillary layer. And the bottom of the dermis is the reticular layer. So you don't have a lot of facts that you have to know about the dermis. The things that I have already covered is pretty much legit solid, all you need to know for the dermis. However, it's good to know. It's good to know what kind of lives in this area. And this is why I left this picture down here. It kind of makes sense. So I would just kind of make you a little checklist of things that live in the dermis. So things that live in the dermis. Your sebaceous glands live in the dermis. Your sudoriferous glands. If you don't know how to spell it, I would just write oil glands and sweat glands. So your oil glands live in the dermis. Your sweat glands live in the dermis. Your oil glands live in the dermis. You have nerves in the dermis. You have blood vessels in the dermis. You have lymph vessels in the dermis. You have hair follicles in the dermis. And you have erector pili muscles in your dermis. What's an erector pili muscle? What's an erector pili muscle? It's that little squiggly, where he at? Nope, that's a sweat pore. That's a sebaceous gland. He's not on this diagram. What's an erector pili muscle, guys? That's a legit state board question. Is it a muscle in your arm? No. Erector pili muscle. Ooh, 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 ooh. Erector pili muscle. Shannon, what's an erector pili muscle? Y'all beat Shannon, beat Shannon, beat Shannon. Come on. Essence, Christine, where you at? Totes, come on. Candace, come on. Erector pili muscle. Ooh, 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 ooh. Cat's got it. Attached to the hair follicles. I can't remember. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on, Shannon. Come on, come on. Just do it. What's that where you like a slam dunk? I know they know. Cats have it when you're cold, when you're scared. Goosebumps. Yes, it's the goosebump muscle. Fantastic. Yay. Ooh, yay, 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 yay. Fantastic. Yes. So all this, I'm going to be mad when I see the answer. Goosebumps is your goosebump. Yes, you are going to be mad. It's your goosebump muscle. It's an involuntary muscle. When cat's hair stand on end, it is your erector pili muscle. It is an archaic muscle that we no longer need in our bodies, but God was like, keep it, girl. All right. And then lastly, we got that yellow stuff, but I feel like we talked about it. That bottom layer is a subcutaneous layer. That yellow stuff, the chicken fat, adipose tissue, easy peasy. It gives us shape. It gives us cushion. I could not think of the word goosebumps. What's wrong with me? Yay! My babies are brilliant. They are brilliant. Brilliant. And they make my heart smile. I was like having a poopy, rainy, crazy day. And this is just like... Okay, so we feel real good. I'm going to, if I were you, this next slide is how I would organize my notes. Like I said, it's important to organize this information in your brain. So I'm going to make, hairdressers, we think in pictures and diagrams. That's just how we work. So you have to think, how can I condense all of this information in some type of picture so my brain remembers it all? So I'm going to draw a smaller area that has 5 bars in it. And I'm going to draw a larger area that has the 2 bars in it. And then I have the bottom. So that same ice cream sandwich example, but I'm making them smaller and bigger to remember which ones are thicker. The epidermis lives on top. You know it's 5 layers for the epidermis. I have the acronym for you, mnemonic acronym. So come, let's get sunburned. So remember the C starts at the top and we work our way down. And you know that's made out of dead keratin. If you wanted to, when I was like first learning this information, or I wanted to like really, because even as a teacher, like standing up in front of you guys, like owning the information, I would have to write the fun facts on each bar. So I would write 5 bars and write stratum corneum, that's the horny layer, stratum lucidum, clear layer, feet and hands, and so on and so forth. That's how I will organize the epidermis ice cream sandwich portion of it. On the inside, notice I have everything that lives there, I also have that as 25 times thicker. I would know all the different words, like what you call the dermis, what it's referred to as. And then I have papillary on top and reticular on bottom. And then I just got my fat smiley face because we know the subcutaneous or the subcutaneous layer lives on the bottom. This is how I will organize my notes. If you have a better way of organizing your notes, if you have a better way of organizing your notes and that works for you, do that. This is for someone who feels like, oh my God, Crystal, I have so much stuff. You're literally condensing this whole entire class into one piece of paper. This piece of paper will answer practically about 25 questions just based on skin. Give me a thumbs up if you feel really good and that helps you. Excuse me. I feel really good, Crystal. Really, really good. 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 Ooh. Ooh. Fantastic. Let's find these review questions so we can review. Oh. All right, friends, do not forget, if you need to a recap or maybe the day before Stateboard or something, you need a refresher. All of this information will be found on my YouTube channel. It's the same as my Instagram handle. Please like and share with all your friends. Boop. And then you can email me or call me or text me or DM me or smoke signal or just come knock on my door because I'm at home now. But let's review. Okay. So let's see. The layer. I'm coming over. Come on over, girl. I ain't doing it. Come on. We doing cosmetology, but you gonna pull out a Marcel iron and you gonna be curling some hair. I'm gonna have you doing some box braids and we gonna do some men's cut. Okay, so this is you're gonna see how tricky the wording can be. Look at this question. Okay. The layer directly beneath the epidermis is the what? The layer directly beneath the epidermis is what? So if I'm at Stateboard and I read this question, the first thing I'm gonna do is start drawing my little ice cream sandwich and organizing the stuff I do know. I know where the epidermis lives at. What's the layer right beneath the epidermis? Is it the... Be careful. The layer right beneath the epidermis, is it the reticular layer, the stratum spinosum, the papillary layer, or the subcutaneous tissue? Christine, you smoking, girl. You tiptoeing around that answer. The layer right beneath the epidermis. The layer right beneath the epidermis. Is it the reticular layer, the stratum spinosum, the papillary layer, or subcutaneous tissue? The layer beneath the epidermis. Beneath the epidermis. So close your eyes. Imagine the ice cream sandwich, and then I'm taking that top layer off. What is the top? After I take, not stratum spinosum. Nope, not subcutaneous. Okay, last time. The layer directly beneath the epidermis. The key word is epidermis. The layer right beneath the epidermis. Christine, you were the closest. Okay, I'll repeat the options. The layer right beneath the epidermis. Is it the reticular layer, the stratum spinosum, the papillary layer, or subcutaneous tissue? Reticular, spinosum, papillary, subcutaneous. Reticular, spinosum, papillary. Papillary. Did you see how tricky that was, y'all? You had to first figure out what is the epidermis and what lives underneath it. It is the papillary layer. Beautiful. Fantastic. That was a lot. Exactly. All right, so which type of tissue gives smoothness, contour, and provides a protective cushion? The protective cushion is the key word. So what gives your body a protective cushion? Is it subcutaneous tissue, cardiac tissue, muscle tissue, or nerve tissue? What's gonna give you a little cushion? Subcutaneous tissue, cardiac tissue, muscle tissue, or nerve tissue? What's gonna give you cushion? Friends, what's gonna give you cushion? Subcutaneous tissue, cardiac tissue, muscle tissue, or nerve tissue? Remember, we get rid of two we know that don't belong. What's gonna give me cushion? I guarantee the nerves ain't giving you no support, no cushion. Cardiac arrest is your heart muscles. That's not giving you any support, so that only leaves subcutaneous and muscle. It's kind of tricky. And since we talked about this, your subcutaneous tissue is what's going to give you your cushion and your support. So that fatty tissue, that adipose tissue, is what's going to give you the support and the cushion. You guys got that? Subcutaneous, beautiful. Yes. I didn't want to spell the whole word out. You guys, y'all can spell. You want to come on here? Who want to come on here? You want to come on here and get quizzed since you don't want to spell it out? Somebody put their hands up because I'm tagging you in here. Fatty subs, like you eat vegetables, gives you cushion. Yes, heck yeah. LOL negative. Christine, you don't want to get in on this live? Essence, nobody? Y'all want to get in here and I can like quiz you? It'd be like a game show. Dun, dun, dun. Getting quiz with the Beauty Brains coach. No? Okay. All right. Well, then you guys got to spell it. Let's see here. Essence, I was going to tag you in my live and quiz you. Never mind. We're just going to spell it out. We're going to spell it out. So the epidermis is the blank layer of the skin. I like that. I like that too. Okay, Candace, I'm going to tag you in the next one. So the epidermis is the what layer of the skin? Is it the healthiest layer of the skin, thickest, thinnest, or most important? You guys are correct. It is the top. It's just not an answer. Is it the healthiest, the thickest, the thinnest, or the most important? It's not an option, sugar. Is it the healthiest, the thickest, the thinnest, or the most important? It's the thinnest. It's the thinnest layer. It's the thinnest layer. Okay, so here is what's tricky about that question. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys caught that. Okay, so here's what's tricky about that question. Christine, you noticed, and Essence noticed. It is kind of like the most important. I mean, in your mind, it's like, yes, it is the most important because like it helps protect the actual real juicy live skin that lives underneath. So I'm totally on board. Like, it is the most important. Here is what's tricky, especially about questions out of a My Lady textbook. That's where a lot of these questions are coming from. It's just the other person who makes the textbook. They will ask you questions that are not, they want you to pick the most right answer. And what I notice about cosmetology students, we will like stir around. We'll be like, oh my God, well, that's kind of the right answer, and that's kind of the right answer. But I don't know, it is the most right answer. So the same way how we kind of go through and break down our questions where we get rid of two that does not belong. And then if I have two and I'm like, well, they're both kind of right, I'm going to pick the most right answer. I was talking to a student. She is studying for her state boards in Washington State. And they asked a question about like, what's the first thing you do when you like sit down with your client? Do you drape them? Do you have a consultation with them? Do you just take them straight to the shampoo bowl, or do you cash them out first, right? So she was like, Crystal, I knew two of them weren't right, but sometimes like, I mean, you are supposed to drape your client. You are supposed to have a consultation with your client. I don't know which one is the right answer. So then close your eyes and walk yourself through this service. The first thing I'm supposed to do with the first thing I'm going to do with that guest is have a consultation. How am I going to know how to drape the guest for the consultation until I have the consultation? So that's one of those situations, again, where like they're kind of both right, but one is more right. So that is how, if I had to decide, if I was stuck on two and I didn't know which way to go, that is how I would do that. I hope that helps. Give me a thumbs up if that helped. Can y'all tell me what you guys want to learn next? Can you DM me and give me some, anything of what you are interested in learning next? I probably got like an hour and 40 minutes on here. Yeah, but if you don't have any questions for me, that's pretty much it, guys. I love y'all. 2 consultations. What you mean 2 consultations? Like how to do a consultation? Just consultations, period. Color consultation. Essence, DM me or call me or something on Instagram when we done. Don't go. Oh, where am I go? I can come back. What we gonna do? I don't know. Call me. I don't know. I told you I'm here. Anything you get stuck on, give me some ideas. Tell me, guys, what you are interested. Head over to YouTube if you haven't done it already. Please go like, share, and subscribe. It's a whole vibe, y'all. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I love y'all so, so much. A week is too long. Okay, Essence, DM me. Talk to me, girl. Tell me what you need. Tell me. I was saying you have to have a consultation with the client before you drape it after. No, you can have a consultation without a drape. You can, yeah, it's just a conversation. We can have a consultation without the draping, and then I'm going to drape her after. For that specific test question, that is how I'm going to answer that. As a stylist, as a professional, if you want to drape yourself, if you want to drape first and then change, you could do that too. It's not a terrible thing. I just want to guide you through testing. That was the point of that example. Thanks, Christine. Love you too. I miss y'all so much. Thanks for always supporting, guys, and showing up. And thanks my teacher friends, because y'all be hanging out with me and y'all show up every week. Shanban, Sandra, Steph, I see you. I saw Molly